guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is the 9th of February 2021 and this is the Flight Sim News. So it looks like the awesome Zone 5 campaign has hit Steam, and this is the campaign for the F-14A for DCS World from Greg over at Relfected Simulations and former Top Gun instructor, former F-14 RIO, book writer, etc., Dave Baranek. It's a lot of fun, and it's definitely probably one of the better campaigns that you can get your hands on, and it puts you in the shoes of a would-be Top Gun pilot, I guess you could say. Even though we're not at Miramar, they use the Nellis test range for this one. I guess Miramar wasn't available. Well, we don't have a map of Miramar in DCS, so they have an interesting way of making up an excuse for that, which is still pretty cool, and it's still a lot of fun. So it has a realistic 80s flair to it, and it's pretty much how they did it back then, which is pretty cool. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. So while we're on the topic of F-14s and Dave Baranek, looks like the Aviation Geek Club did an interview with Dave on the topic of the real F-14 Tomcat. And it's a rather lengthy interview with tons of information to be had, all kinds of interesting questions. Were the glove vanes effective? Was the standoff range of the Phoenix missile really 117 miles? Are there any stories of pilots flying so extreme causing their RIO to get sick, etc., etc.? How much better was the F-110 engine than the original? Lots of cool questions and lots of cool answers. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Now, here's a video I happened to find. It's on a new U-boat simulator that's coming out called Crush Depth. Cutting that music because it's not even that good anyway. But I guess this is their proof of concept for the U-boat simulator that they're going to be putting together. I'm not so much into ships as I am planes and helicopters, but I know a lot of guys cross over into this territory, and I thought it might be of interest. The video is about 4 minutes and 30 seconds long, and it goes into detail to show you what they have to offer at the moment in their early version of an alpha. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, Greg at Relfected Simulations has put up his 2021 plans. He goes on to say, "Dear all, thank you for all your support in 2020. I spent most of the year in lockdown with plenty of time for DCS, so 2021 will see many of these projects come to fruition. 2021 started on a high note with the release of Zone 5. It will be followed soon by Wolfpack, a P-47 campaign based on real-life combat reports of the 56th Fighter Group, which has already been submitted to Ed, which is Eagle Dynamics. So that's been submitted, so that should be any day now. Another F-14A project is nearing completion. After over a year's work, Fear the Bones will be a much lighter, more story-driven and fun campaign than my first one. If you think Zone 5 was an awesome documentary, think of Fear the Bones as a corny 80s action movie, the kind we all secretly love. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. And I'm not saying anything bad about Zone 5, but I do like the more relaxed atmosphere, I think, a little more." And then he goes on to say, "Going forward, I am eagerly awaiting the release of the Mosquito and the F-4U Corsair. I've already conducted some extensive research and can't wait to start working on those campaigns. You can also see my work once the Corsair is released, as I'm the one making the official quick start, single, and training missions for the module. Apart from all of these, I may have a few other irons in the fire, but more news about that later. And of course, I'll keep updating my older campaigns to make sure they're all up to the latest standards of DCS. Stay tuned." That's fantastic news. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. All right, and next up is Iain Christie, good friend of the channel. He's got a new video up called Community A-4E Skyhawk version 2.0 First Impressions.
Hello YouTube, Sidekick here with another installment of the Iron Bomber's Guide to the Galaxy. Today we're starting a new series that I call The Little Iron Bomber That Could. And it is, of course, about the A-4 Skyhawk. I've been looking forward to starting this series for a while, but I wanted to wait until version 2.0 of the A-4 was available for DCS. And I'm happy to say that a beta version of 2.0 is now out, so it's time to get started. By the way, if you want to download the latest version of the A-4, there'll be a link in the video description, and depending on when you're watching this, the final version may even be available by then. In this series, as we're doing for the Harrier in The Last of the Iron Bombers, we're going to take a look at the history of the A-4 so we can understand why it's built the way it is, and then we're going to do some training with it to make sure we know how to use it and its various systems, and then we're going to fly some missions, both historical and hypothetical. So today, we're going to start off with a quick look at the history of the scooter, and then we're going to go for a quick familiarization flight, and we're going to talk about how the plane flies in DCS, and what's new in version 2.0. So, let's get started.
I'll stop it right there because the video is about 25 minutes and 52 seconds long. And as usual, it's another fantastic video from Iain. They just keep getting better. They really do. And I'm going to skip ahead after we're done here making this to check it out for myself and see what the differences are in version 2.0. I didn't even know 2.0 was out yet, so I'm going to try to find a link to that, and I'll throw a link to the version 2.0 that you can download and to Iain's video as well, so you can check it out for yourself. All right, and then lastly, Razbam. They, a few days ago, had posted this. Actually, January 30th, a little more than a few days ago. I must have missed it. And they go on to say, well, today was a momentous day for the terrain development team at Razbam. As you can see from the screenshots, Snow Peak Rangers and Glaciers, to list a few. This is just the first stage of getting things into place, and we will start refinement process. This is our humble opinion, exponentially increases the atmospheric experience. I know you will agree. Razbam Terrain Development Team, and there's a couple of screenshots of what looks like the new map that they've been working on. Very cool stuff. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. And until next time, guys.